Hello, insiders, and welcome to this new episode of the EU Bubble Insider. Today, our guest is Roxana Caliminte, Deputy Secretary General of Gas Infrastructure Europe. Roxana, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Krzysztof, for inviting me. And I really look forward to this very nice conversation with you.
Likewise, and I would like to begin with asking you, for those who don't know you, maybe to tell us a bit about your story. What initially started your passion to start a career in the energy industry and led you to where you are today?
It's been a very unexpected pathway, to be honest, because as you grow up, you have your studies done. You get to choose what university you want to go to. And in Romania, because I come from Romania, we didn't have a wide palette of options to choose any energy related studies. So my parents are engineers, electromechanical engineers and electrotechnical engineers. So somehow this passion for the heavy stuff was somehow instilled deep down from my childhood already. But then I was not a very technical person. I was looking more into the international relations, into the business administration, and therefore our pathways somehow took different directions. I decided to become an economist and follow my intuition, my heart. However, there was this opportunity to study with a scholarship in Russia. And that was a very exciting decision. It was not a very popular destination amongst my circle to go and study. But I took the challenge, and it was really life-changing because this is where I actually got to learn energy, the energy sector, and the implication of the gas systems at the global level. And that opened certainly my appetite. Somehow, if I think about it now, maybe I even attracted because it was an unfulfilled wish that I couldn't accomplish in Romania. And therefore, I had this opportunity, and it only confirmed my desire to continue into the energy field. So when I came back to Romania, I had the chance and the luck to get to work with Transgas. This is the Romanian transmission system operation for gas. And it's been quite a ride because I was very young at that time. I was around 23, 24 years old. And I got to work directly with the top management of the company, so with the CEO and with the president. And it was truly inspiring to see the passion that they put into their work. And of course, you always have this saying that you have to lead by example. So they were an example for me at that time, and they still are. And that actually pursued my interest to continue into this pathway. And I now know that this is actually the story I want to build on, because we are living into a very transitional energy sector, and the old ways are not going to fit the new ways. And it's a matter of keeping the passion throughout the bumpy ride of the energy transition.
Roxana, you joined a very male-dominated industry as a young and woman. So these are two factors that that instantly light the bulb of, was it challenging in my head? Was there something that you recall was especially challenging because of some maybe biases that are associated with your age or gender, that maybe could be a lesson for others in a similar situation?
You know, Krzysztof, I was a little bit mad, if I can say so, because I never saw any challenge. Maybe I was also raised up in this spirit by my mother, by my father, that everything is possible. Everything is possible if you work hard for it. So I knew that I wanted to, as a young professional, demonstrate what I can do. And obstacles of gender in Romania, that is not a discussion, because we are coming from a former communist regime, let's say, where everybody was equal, everybody needed to work, male, female, in order to industrialize as much as possible the country and help it become self-sufficient. So we've been on an equal foot since those times, and the topic today is really not as, let's say, fired up as it is in other parts of Europe or of the world. But when it comes to age, that was the most challenging part for me, because you enter a sector which is very old itself. It contributed massively to the stability of Europe and the entire world. And you meet all these experienced people, leaders that actually shaped the gas system as it is today, the real leaders of this sector. And then you think, okay, what can I bring to the table? How can I do? What can I do to serve you, right? As I entered first Transgas back in Romania, and then I moved here at Gas Infrastructure Europe, which was the next level. But I actually had fantastic mentors into this journey, and they helped me overcome those thoughts that were mainly in my mind. Because at the end of the day, if somebody says, yes, you are a person that should belong to the team, then there is a reason for that. But maybe you sometimes don't realize which is that reason. So you tend to focus on the negative part. You tend to put pressure on yourself. But mentorship certainly was very important in this youth angle that I've brought to the table.
So reflecting on what you said earlier, is if we focus too much on the challenges that we have, we might actually end up in a more difficult situation and have a more challenging process of overcoming them. So is that your advice, that it's rather better to focus on just going forward than moving around your challenges too much?
100%. Absolutely. So, two pieces of advice were of very high impact during those times of challenges. One is, and I still keep it in mind, fail. Fail as much as possible. Because this is when you get to learn new stuff, stepping out of your comfort zone, tapping into new territories, solutions, ideas, plans that haven't been tapped so far. So either it can be a success, and that's good, either it can be a failure, but let's call it a lesson in this case, because this is where you learn and you become a much more valuable person and you know which pathway you take next. And the second advice was focus on your strength. Focus on your strength and become the best in that field, in that area, than working on your weaknesses and always be mediocre at it. You choose your battles.
I could only add to that it's also good to look for bosses or mentors who actually support you in making those mistakes, and not limit your process of exploring what works best for you. So maybe we could now move to actually explaining our listeners what is Gas Infrastructure Europe. And I would like to challenge you a bit to explain what GIE does, and what also you do as the Deputy Secretary General, in terms that you would use to explain it to someone who doesn't work in the EU bubble. So simple terms for friends and family. How do you explain what it is you do, and what Gas Infrastructure Europe is?
Well, let's call GIE a family. It's the family of all the businesses that operate the gas infrastructure business industry in the whole of Europe. So we have around 70 members of this family from 26 European countries. And that makes us whole, because we bring together pipelines, underground gas storage, and LNG terminals. So what do we do here in Brussels? We are the meeting point of the whole of the family by providing a platform to them to communicate, to exchange ideas, to exchange challenges, opportunities that are ahead of us as an industry from a regulatory perspective. And being in Brussels helps us because we are at the heart of the European policy making. So we are surrounded by all these institutions, the European Commission, the European Parliament, other stakeholders, NGOs, academia. We try to be part of the discussion. And my duty in serving the interests of our members is actually to understand internally what their fire, what their biggest need is, and then go outside to the wider extended friends, let's call them friends, right? And try to be clear what is at stake, what is important for us, what can we bring to the table, how, when, but what do we need in exchange from a regulatory perspective to enable those plans to play their part, and that is into the energy transition.
But the energy transition is actually a very complex process discussed by many actors in Brussels, with so many layers. So I would like to ask you, what are the biggest challenges for the gas industry, and how are you making sure that they're addressed well, that that the voice of the gas industry is heard in this very busy and complex debate that is going on?
Yeah, absolutely. And this energy transition sometimes makes it even more difficult. It brings to the table new stakeholders that were not present in the past, because technologies emerge, new technologies emerge. Already existing technologies are advancing, so you can see already many other associations that are being established. So the voices have increased a big number of times. If you can have a look on the EU Transparency Register. But our duty is actually to bring facts and data to the discussion, because those will not lie. You can sell, and I think here in Brussels, it is usually the case that people have a lot of stories to sell, to tell, right? It's very much about visions, about strategies, about the way industries contribute. But numbers and proof of how you can contribute to the European energy security, and that leads to the European energy stability, and that further leads to providing a lifestyle to consumer that is affordable, that is reliable, that is safe, a lifestyle that they really want to lead, and everybody strives for that. So us as a gas industry, we've done our fair share of contribution, for example, last year during the energy crisis. I don't think that is something to be challenged, because we've seen the results that were brought to the consumers. And I think we have to keep on realizing that, okay, decarbonization surely goes hand in hand with energy security. And as gas infrastructure operators, we can certainly bring that to the table.
So what is the way to find balance between optimism, which is very much needed in a discussion like this, and realism, just focusing on those facts, so everyone can somewhere meet in the middle?
That's true. I think I cannot say that this is an easy job that we are having. So I think when you leave the office at the end of the day, you still need to keep a big smile on and also bring it at home. So that is where optimism should come in. And realism is part of what I've just mentioned. Realism is brought by facts and data. And because we are the focal point of the gas infrastructure operators, we can tap into real life data from our members, and we can put it forward into the European debate.
Roxana, the goal of this podcast is also to look inside the real everyday work of professionals working in the EU bubble. Could you maybe share some successful strategies, a project in the areas of policy, strategy, or communications that you led and you're really proud of, and tell us why do you think it worked?
Yeah. So of course, it's a collective effort, right? When we talk about strategies and successes, in a way. But let's look where we were, let's say, 5 years ago, when the European Commission has launched the big plan of decarbonizing Europe, which was the EU Green Deal. It was a terrifying moment, I can confess that, because we were moving towards a narrative that was looking into 100% electrification. So we were wondering, shall we now close the office here? I don't know. For how long will we still be alive? But that was, let's say, something refreshing, maybe, because that made us very creative and a very innovative, took out the very creative and very innovative spirit of the business itself. So we now moved from, and where we are today, right? We moved from 100% electrification to a narrative that says there is no one-size-fits-all solution. All regions and countries across Europe need a wide palette of options to tap into, depending on their specific needs and circumstances, geopolitical, economical, social, even cultural. It's about leaving options open. And it is, at the end of the day, up to the market to decide. So our contribution as a business, and in my role, I helped support that become a reality, is actually to transition that very strong voice of 100% electrification towards a real plan and a real vision that leaves no one behind. And it's actually what also the European institutions want.
And in building successful campaigns, how important is building coalitions with other actors, other stakeholders, other associations, to have a stronger voice, to show the policymakers, the lawmakers, that there is more than one person or group saying the same thing. How important is that? And also how to do it well, if you could.
Absolutely. I think this is my cup of tea. So thank you for putting it on the table. Because when I joined GIE, I embraced a baby, which is a coalition of the LNG associations across the world. I joined GIE as the LNG brain of our family. And it was fantastic to see the knowledge that is out there. So it was very important to cooperate with each other, to exchange information, and to actually tap into that rich knowledge that can be used by the whole of the group wherever is needed and whenever it's needed. So immediately I understood the importance of such alliances, because when it was needed, we would also speak with one voice in Brussels. And then we used to bring the brains alike, the minds alike, at the same table, narrowing down a strong message that was relevant for all of us. And then we would create, of course, a strategy, a campaign. It depends, of course, the tools that you want to use for that, in order to make that message loud. It can be on different topics, of course, but it is important to know your stakeholders, and it is important to know who is doing what, who says what, in order to, bring along all those people that hurt in the same way as you do.
So to be well informed and to know what's going on, who is what, how do you make this possible? Do you spend 20 hours a day on your phone? Do you have people figuring out for you? How does that? How do you make it work, Roxana?
Of course, it is a mix of everything. But from my point of view, it's about being out there. It is about a network. It is about a network that responds to you, that is available to you. And that is the most difficult part in our job, because you work with so many people. You meet so many people, and nurturing this network is one of the most energy consuming, time consuming part of a day.
So
at the end of the
sorry, just to be clear, so the most efficient way to be well informed in Brussels is not following the news on your phone. It's rather meeting people in real life for lunch, coffee, in events, and just talking to them and exchanging
Absolutely.
information.
I think that is a very important part. And on the other side, it is, of course, reading the news every single day, every single morning. This is how I actually start my day, by reading the news and being well informed about what has happened overnight, and then be able to connect the dots between what I'm doing and what the whole of the world is doing, and how we can contribute to a better world.
One of the most important parts of your job, if I understand your job correctly, is also public speaking, Roxana. Do you have some practices that you learned that work well to be well prepared for appearances on events, maybe debates, podcasts like this one we're recording today. What's your approach to being a good public speaker?
There are many public speakers in Brussels. It's sort of an industry even, because
Yes.
everybody needs to say something,
Yes.
and you have
But
to
not
be
everyone is
heard.
listened to. Not everyone is
That's it
listened to.
was exactly my next step. So you have to be memorable, and I think in my approach, it's to keep it simple, have very simple messages. Of course, first of all, know your audience, know whom you're talking to, because you can talk pears to apples, it would not match. So know your audience very well and understand what are their interests and why are they in the room, why should they listen to you, what can you give to them that they leave the room more enriched, more informed, or inspired to take action. And that is the first step for me. And the second one is going back to the first idea, is to keep it simple. I don't know, define for yourself 1, 2, 3, 5 messages that you want to deliver. Make it clear you are going to have 1, 2, 3, 5 messages. Message number 1, this and this. Number 2, this gives structure, and people follow because they have something to look forward to. And I think along with that comes the fact to make your message real, to have people empathizing with your message. You can keep it technical, but at the end of the day, our duty here is to talk on the language, on the technical language, regulatory language of everyone. So try to find a good balance into comparisons that relate to your audience.
And when you're invited to a male-dominated panel, what is your initial thought?
That I'm going to have a lot of fun. This is really fun because when I was, and I actually don't even think about it at all. When I enter a stage, I know that we are all human beings and we are all great in what we do. So I'm actually there to listen and to understand and to learn from them, like also they do with me. But it was very funny. At some point, I was I was very young when I joined GIE. I was 26 years old when I joined it in this position. So, of course, I go in a country which was very male dominated, almost 100% male dominated in the industry per se, in the gas sector. So I was called on stage, and I think they were expecting another figure to show up. And as I was walking to the stage, the moderator kept on calling me, and I was keeping on walking, and they kept on calling me, and I go on stage, and they keep on calling me, and I'm like, I'm here. And they were so shocked because they were not ready for this package. So this is the fun part of it. It's no longer the case, of course. I was really new in the association back then. I was also very young. So there was, for me, a time to also make myself known that I'm now part of the team and I can contribute to the discussion.
I really like the way you explain how to approach challenges, because this stands out from this interview we're having, that you just don't mind that the challenges are there. You just go, move on, and try to just make the best of the opportunities you get. Is that the ultimate advice you have for young professionals trying to build their careers, women and men, like just young people who are trying to build their position in the industry? Or is there anything else you would like to share that works?
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's a very good question. I think mainly, of course, it can sound fun, it can sound easy, but it requires a lot of preparation at the end of the day. So you always have to be informed. And not only informed, but ahead of the information, because when the information comes out, it's already too late, right? So you have to be up to date and learn as much as possible. Be open to learn new things. And I think together with that, the number of challenges goes down. And even if you encounter, let's say, a more specific situation, you will have the tools to go through them and to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But it's about being informed, being open to unknown, be creative. Let fears aside. This is just background noise. It's really background noise. I don't know what other people are doing, but I'm doing a lot of sport. I'm going into the nature. I try to eat good stuff so that I have a well-balanced body and mind. That helps me overcome those fears. And I think really embrace every train that comes into your life. Get on that coach and see where it takes you and find a way throughout it. Never say no to opportunities, but be prepared for them when they come.
But also, what again stood out now in your response for me is the fact that you didn't only talk about taking on the challenges, but also remembering that you have a body and a mental health to maintain. And maybe this would be a good topic to wrap up our conversation after all the work gets done and all the successes are achieved. How do you make sure that you have a healthy work-life balance? That you're just having opportunities and a space in life to, let's keep the energy here with us, let's say, to recharge your batteries, if I may. What's your approach to that, Roxana?
So first of all, I'm lucky to have a very fun family. There is no way that I close my eyes when I go to sleep without having a very good portion of loud laughter. So that helps a lot. And I think this is where also my optimism, my positivity comes from. It is fueled every day. And afterwards, I think then other things are coming, but this is the basis for
so
my
get yourself
work
a
life.
fun family. That's one
Get
advice.
yourself, choose wisely, choose very wisely, because that can lead you to nowhere or that can lead you to the stars. Choose wisely. And then, of course, sports. It's part of my morning routine. I go to the gym, I do yoga. In the weekend, I am trying to be in nature as much as possible. I swim. So I am varying a little bit my activities. It also improves my creativity, my spontaneity in what I'm doing. So I don't like a regular routine in that sense. Eat a lot of fruit, vegetables. It's really about getting those vitamins that help you, go through the day and still be happy throughout it. And have a good coffee from time to time, a really good one. It helps.
And it makes a difference if it's a really good one.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Roxana, thank you very much. I think that's the best way to wrap up our conversation. This is a podcast about professional knowledge, about how the EU bubble works. But I also often try to speak with my guests about what's beyond just work and getting better at it. There's also life, and we're doing all this work to have a happy to have a happy life. So thank you very much for this refreshing and also very energetic interview. I enjoyed it. I'm sure our listeners did too. Thank you very much. Roxana Caliminte, Deputy Secretary General of GIE, was our guest today. Thank you, Roxana.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a good day.